All right, thank you for joining us today. We have a special opportunity to speak with Iluta Lāce, and Iluta was the founder and still runs Marta Centre, a resource center for women who are victimized by violence and sex trafficking, among other things. Iluta has worked in this field for more than 2 decades, so a long time. She's worked in international projects. She's been a vice president of the European Women's Lobby. Last year, she was recognized for her work by getting the Latvia Order of 3 Stars, right? And so we've got an opportunity to speak with her today. I'm really excited about it. Welcome, Iluta.
Hello. I'm really happy to be here in the school where actually I studied, and I got lots of ideas and inspirations to be more successful and more effective in the work that I do.
Okay, so today the topic here is management and leadership, and we will get to those things. But really I want to start by setting the context. And so maybe you can start by telling our listeners, how did Marta get started? What were the events that led to its founding, and take it from there?
Yeah, actually I can say that I always was thinking how to do things so that we would live in more equal society. And I realized that there are many inequalities if we look at access to opportunities for women, girls, boys and men. And 22 years ago, I got this opportunity to start Marta Centres. It was a cooperation project first between Finland and Latvia, and they looked for a coordinator for this project. It was EU-funded project, and this was 2-year project. And I saw this like a great opportunity to use this EU funds like a start capital to start a real organization that does benefit for society here in Latvia and to work for equal society. And during these 2 years, while we had this EU project, EU-funded project, I worked together with like-minded persons, also from Finland, Latvia, to establish organization, legal unit that actually is possible to provide support for vulnerable groups here in Latvia, vulnerable women, and develop programs and do advocacy for to improve laws, policies, and also do prevention work against to prevent violence, discrimination, and trafficking.
So it's been 22 years, long time, a lot of work.
Yeah, on the 5th of May we will have our 22nd anniversary.
Wow, congratulations. But from the beginning, your sister was also involved, is that right?
She's also involved right now. Actually, if you look at the very beginning, it was the work was going on 24 hours, some interruptions, and it was really great that I had partners from Finland, and the lady from Finland, she was 25 years older than me at that time, and I was young at that time, and I could, go 24 hours without, any food or sleeping, but she was older, and she said to me, I'm older than you, please, when you plan, when you schedule some things for us together, please plan also lunchtime, coffee break, and sleeping time. So, so actually at the very beginning there was a bunch of volunteers, people that were also excited about this idea to create a platform for equality, so it was mostly volunteer work or some project work, but currently we do have permanent staff. It's around 45 persons, and we are based in Riga, based in Liepāja, western part of Latvia, and already 1 year we are functioning in Rēzekne, eastern part of Latvia.
So you've had that growth and been quite successful.
Yes, exactly. And also if we look at those that supported our work at the very beginning, then at the very beginning it was mostly foreign donors, foreign foundations, and it was mostly project-based, getting funds from outside of Latvia. Currently, I'm very proud to say we have lots of local people supporting our work, local companies supporting our work, and at that time I had a big dream that government would understand that we are doing a great job. And finally, I can say we have also government programs that support specific fields of our work, and we have government funds too.
Ah, very good. It only took them 20 years. Yeah?
For some programs, it took 6 years, and then, for example, in 2006, we managed to get a program to provide rehabilitation for victims of trafficking. So we worked to get this program, and in 2006 we got this program within government, and we were so happy that there is this program and that we can get funds. There is open procurement procedure and we can get funds to support victims of trafficking. But the way how it was organized was not victim-centered, so we had problems with government, and government didn't listen to us, so we started litigation against government in 2009, and we won in 2015.
That helps to get them on your side, I suppose, a little bit.
Yes, we have. I would say that many people that were against our work or didn't understand what we do, they thought that these are some kind of invented problems, you know, discrimination against women or violence, that it's something invented, it's not real, it's artificial, you know. Currently, it's not anymore like this, at least among most of the people, and we understand that there is understanding about violence against women, domestic violence, trafficking. At 22 years ago, it was not like this, and those persons also within different bodies, like government or businesses, that didn't understand what we do and why we need to do these things. Right now, they are our allies and supporters.
Wow, that's fascinating. So in the beginning, what you found then was that a lot of people were looking at you as
crazy
like
person.
A scam,
Yeah.
maybe try to get money out of the government for make up problems and
Yeah, something like this. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Usually it was like this. That, or they thought, oh, these are, you know, Soros Foundation or some other, you know, these strange foundations that support this type of work, and that it's not real, it's not needed, it's, you know, yeah. So it was like this.
And today, though, they're on your side.
Yes.
They support you and
Not all of them,
Yeah,
but of course there are always groups that don't want equality, or those groups that support discrimination.
Right.
That's like this, but there are already many persons that understand the essence of our work. So I'm very proud of this.
Okay, so one of the things that helped you get them on your side is suing them and winning, but there must have been some other positive things along the way, some successes that you had that really opened up people's eyes. So what were some of the major milestones that you've had in these 20 years?
I think all the practical work that we do, all the women's stories, because all these years we practically supported women that suffered from violence, that were in desperate situations. So I think that one of the hugest success, that regardless different challenges, to get funds for our work and to see our competence, and by our competence we managed to have open door for women that are in these extremely vulnerable situations, that suffer from violence, that are in life dangerous situations, and we develop these programs, rehabilitation programs for them, and specialists that work within social services, police, other institutions. They saw the benefit of our programs and about our competence, and whenever this during the process of raising awareness that it's a real problem, that you need to work with them with these issues, there was also growing request for this knowledge and competence, and that's how it goes, you know, hand in hand. Our practical work, our methodology, our advocacy, working with government, politicians, specialists, showing them issues, proving that we are right, and then they see, yeah, we need this, we really need to develop programs, we really need to get funds for these programs, and we need expert organizations that implement these programs. So, and now we are there, that there are already many government programs to support the most vulnerable people that are victims of trafficking, that are victims of domestic violence, and not only Marta but also other organizations can apply, can be part of these open procurement procedures and win this possibility to implement these programs and to get funds for their work, what they do with these groups that are in vulnerable situations.
Okay, so with all of this work, all of this support, what has been the impact on Latvian women?
I think we have managed to get many structural changes. It means that we have changed laws and policies. So it means that every Latvian woman that has suffered in her lifetime from violence, and we know that every third woman has suffered from sexual and physical violence in her lifetime. If you look at Latvia, so it's like every third woman, it's a lot. So it means that in every enterprise, in every government unit or municipality, there is a woman that has suffered from violence. So all these persons, they have benefited from our actions, because we have managed to improve policies. We have laws that some other countries, even Sweden, admires some issues that we have and they don't have. Like, for example, measures of temporary protection from violence. So it means if you suffer from violence, it doesn't matter if a woman or a man or whomever, you can apply to court and explain your situation, describe all the things that you suffer from, all the actions that are towards you, that perpetrator does, and the court makes decision usually in 24 hours to issue so-called temporary protection from violence or protection order. Just it means that the person that is violent cannot approach you to certain contact you, connect with you, and it's done quickly. It's done within 24 hours, and police comes. And within 30 minutes, this person has to gather stuff and just go away. And until this time, until 2014, when we managed this regulation, it was so that usually women had to run away from home with their children, seek for some safe places. But knowing housing problems in Latvia, we realized that this would be more efficient measure, and we see that it really works, because since if until 2014 there were few requests to get temporary protection from violence, then now it's around 1,000 per year that court issues, and it works quickly, and we see that it's really efficient measure to protect our women. So this is, for example, just one example. And last year we also managed with our partners and like-minded civil servants and politicians to get measurements that perpetrators, whenever court makes decision on temporary protection from violence, courts can also make decision like that these persons that are perpetrators, that they should go to these mandatory state programs, like their own rehabilitation, so that they would understand what kind of harm they have done, what kind of what the violence, what they do, how it harms their family, children, also neighbors, society, and just to acknowledge their wrongdoings and see what they can do to change their behaviors. And right now, this year, we have extra focus together with Ministry of Justice and judges and organizations that implement these programs to monitor its real implementation. So this is like one of the aspects. So just some examples, but we also do a lot, and we are very proud of all the achievements regarding trafficking, prevention of trafficking in human beings. So every year we do some kind of advocacy, and every year we are very proud to announce that we have managed, together with like-minded politicians, to amend some laws and amend some policies, and that this actually then it means that it impacts the whole society, and that we move towards a society that is more healthy and that is more respectful. This I also see when I look at awareness, because if few years ago there were people that still justified violence against women and domestic violence, and still thought that it's private issue and nobody should act or support victims. Then nowadays, when we look at the newest information and observations, we see that we have become more intolerant towards violence. That we don't justify violence against persons, and we also see these situations that is connected with breakout of the war in Ukraine, how united is our society to support war victims and refugees flowing into our country. So there are some very positive signs. Yeah.
So we'll talk more about the war and your efforts there a little bit later. But I know that also another example is just that police have been given greater power now when they're called to a domestic dispute.
Yes.
That they can actually proactively separate people and take somebody, where before they had to wait for a complaint and things like that. So they can evaluate the situation, and I think Marta helped get that done,
exactly.
Right?
Of course. Of course, because we have worked with police a lot, and we have had also some pilot projects with some municipalities where you had good policemen, you know, but not only good policemen, but good chiefs, like the bosses of units. And then from these pilot units, we moved to the whole Latvia, like to introduce these best practices in other municipalities and in country in general. One of the latest achievements that we have this year, since February, is that exactly when there is so-called family conflict and police goes to the spot and goes to this family, they have right to remove perpetrator without consent of victim, because knowing situations of violence, knowing that they are tortured, they are influenced by perpetrators, they are afraid, they are totally scared of their perpetrators, it's impossible to think that they would easily give consent to remove this perpetrator, because they are afraid that they will be again suffering after police goes away. Or so that's what we see, that per year there are around 10,000 calls to such family conflicts, and among these 10,000 calls, police has detected that life-threatening situations are in around 4,000 situations. And until this year, they could make any, some actions to get rid of perpetrator at the moment on the spot, only in some 500 situations. So it means that 3,500 persons still continue to suffer. And this legal act will help, you see, how many thousand people to be free from violence and to start to live more dignified lives.
Yeah, that's really important work, and it must be satisfying to see these changes coming about. It must really
that's what I'm very proud of, that when I was like 22 years ago, I wanted everything immediately, right now, and nothing happened, but that you see that every step or every action that you take, it has results, but these results, they are not probably at the same moment, but they are coming gradually. So this is really satisfying, as you say. I enjoy this.
Okay.
And what I also I'm very I really like that many young people, young women, seek to work for Marta Centres. They want to be part of our work, and this is the feeling that all these nights that I didn't sleep,
I was going to ask about that a little later.
Didn't eat, that they are, there is some kind of benefit of this. So it was worth it.
Okay, all right. So what for Marta then in the near future, what are some of the challenges in Latvia that you're really working on?
So, as I mentioned, we would like to see that these programs on keeping perpetrators accountable, that they really do work. Then we also want Latvia to become abolitionist country. With abolitionism, we usually understand slavery, but if we talk about trafficking, if we talk about system of sexual exploitation, prostitution, pornography, there are also should be all elements in place to break this criminal model and to support the most vulnerable persons. So we still see that we need to improve legal acts in this regard, that we need to get punishment of those that actually purchase people's bodies, those that purchase sex. This is something that is still missing in Latvia. So we will work on this, and also we will develop our prevention programs with young people, with boys and girls, yeah, these are like the nearest goals. But another thing that we would like to do and to get done that is missing in Latvia is that we don't have a Gender Equality Act. Even in our neighboring countries, there are Gender Equality Act, but not in our country. And this Gender Equality Act, we see that it should cover all the life spheres. Marta has chosen to work or develop programs and tools how to support the most vulnerable persons, but we need also to think about life-work balance. We need to think about, and this will alleviate lots of, women's burden that is usually thought that it's women's burden, pay gap, other issues that are important for all companies, all government bodies. So this is something that we also would like to, this time to put our efforts. And of course, the work that we do in other countries to share our tools and our methods, and because I understand we are all united in our world. It's war in Ukraine influences us. Violence in one home in Latvia influences some other homes, the perceptions and the ways how we see things. So it's really important to understand that everything is connected, and that we need to support each other and give tools and methods to those that are really interested and eager to get them. So we will, our struggles is also to support people and organizations in Central Asia, in Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, to be more successful in their work for equality, in their work to support most vulnerable people. We have done work in Belarus, especially after 9th of August, when there was this fake election of Lukashenko, and many people protested, and they were imprisoned. And so we provided our support to our sister organizations to create like a network of volunteers to continue to support these persons with food packages, but also with legal assistance. And this work was supported by our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And currently we are struggling to support our friends in Eastern Ukraine, especially because like 2-3 years ago, we started a nice cooperation with municipalities, with politicians and NGOs in Eastern Ukraine, and we helped them to develop gender equality plans. We also hosted a visit here for them last September and showed what and how we do to improve women's and children's situation here in Latvia. And now we try to support them to just survive and go through this nightmare what they experience right now. So together with another organization, Skalbes, we provide distant psychological consultations to them, and there are reports, especially requests for these consultations, especially in the evenings when bombarding starts. And then another support that we do is we transfer funds that we fundraise here with the support of local companies and organizations from other countries. and we transfer these funds to these organizations in eastern Ukraine, and then they find their own ways how to get out of these occupied territories, to get access to humanitarian aid, but also to get access to some food, to medicine that is, really needed, clothes, stuff that is really needed for people that are trapped in these places. Like Kherson, Mariupol right now is a world-known city. So these are the things that we are supporting, trying to do and support our...
So in these places, these cities you mentioned, you've developed friendships there.
Yeah, we have developed
So how
friendships.
are you coping with this? And how are your friends there?
It's horrible. It's horrible there. And also these messages that you receive, that, for example, you receive a message, they are killing us. There is no electricity, no food, no heating. Today we don't have even windows, so there is nothing. And then, for example, this person just disappears and you cannot connect. And today I have a happy news. There is a message that the lady that disappeared for 2 weeks, that she's again in contact. So it's really challenging. It's really horrible. And I know that all the persons that are here, also in Latvia, in a way, we all need some kind of support to survive, to go through this situation. But our way to cope with this is that we have found ways how to support these persons in Eastern Ukraine, women and children, and every message that we receive, and every message where they say how beneficial this or that support was for their people, it really gives some kind of feeling that at least you do something, that at least you don't sit and observe or are indifferent, but you really do things to support these people. This helps. Yeah, otherwise it's really, really, really terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I and everybody listening and people in Latvia have friends and family in both countries, and it's really a tragedy, and we're all struggling with this, and it's difficult to continue working and keep your focus and find ways to help is a really important part of dealing with it.
Yeah, exactly, because this was the first thing on 24th of February that I wrote to these ladies that I hosted here in Latvia last September, how we can support you, what can we do. And then they identified their needs and they said psychological support and economic support, and that's what we try to do. We explain their needs to those that want to support our work, and we try to find ways how to support. At the same time, we also raise awareness about risks of trafficking in human beings, especially if these persons are displaced and they are starting their travel outside Ukraine. There are many risky situations, and so we currently there are already developed some materials in Ukrainians that will be distributed in these refugee centers and places where refugees are gathering. But next week we plan with my team to think how to develop more appropriate materials and describe more this recruitment process and everything that probably not everybody is aware, but
so you've seen trafficking go up since this has started with Ukraine.
Ukraine was one of the top countries where people were trafficked into European Union, one of the top countries already before war. So it means currently, with the situation of war, the risks and trafficking actually increases, and there are some terrifying news also from different our neighboring countries that children disappear, women disappear. So we need to be aware, and we need to set systems in place to prevent all these things. And that's what we are doing. We have organized several discussions, international discussions. We plan to continue discuss with neighboring countries also what they do, what kind of risks they see, how we can prevent them together. So continue to work with Ministry of Interior and other organizations just to improve our way to prevent trafficking and to support victims whenever there are any signs.
And so, you know, all of this hardship that you deal with, I mean, that's basically your career is dealing with hardship that people are going through. How do you, that there must be nights when you can't sleep and you get really frustrated and you feel, I don't know if you ever feel like, is it worth it? Because it's ongoing and ongoing. So how do you keep yourself going? And
meeting inspirational persons, also being in touch with these heroes in Eastern Ukraine. They are there, they are doing this amazing work, they are finding ways how to get in and out stuff for their local people. This also inspires and helps to continue. Also the team, I think we have created really good professional team that is with us, and all the supporters, all friends and I think this community of our friends and supporters is growing, and this this helps to go on. And of course I agree, there had been nights when I didn't sleep and I was thinking, but what I feel when I see that I can find ways how to support these people, that we have systems in place, programs in place, that's, I know we can do something. The most challenging is when you don't know how to support and don't know how to, when you need to find ways how to do this. And then again, it's a new challenge, how to create new systems and new programs and yeah.
And so do you find the people in your office, do they get into these moods of despair and how do you keep them going?
It's so that we organize supervisions for them. We have psychological support for teams that work with victims. And currently with the war in Ukraine, we will have every Tuesday morning before we start our staff meeting, discussing actualities, we will have a conversation with psychotherapists about how we feel, in what stage there is war and what's normally to feel and how to deal with these things. And so yeah, psychological support, supervisions from outside specialists, but also co-visions and some inspirational events for our team, like going out for some walk or just gathering together to drink some tea or coffee, you know, these daily chats. It's really helpful, and it helps them to keep going on, because pandemia was already challenge for our team, because we had to reorganize work, we had to find a way how to support victims when they are trapped in their homes, and we have to change our style of work and everything. And we also had to deal with huge increase for demand for our services. It actually doubled. And right now we have also extra demand that comes with the flow of refugees, and psychological support that is requested from us also regarding these issues. So yeah, it's challenging, but at the same time it's interesting, and all the support and friends that are here and networks, this is really...
Yeah. So you find strength in each other, strength in your networks, strength in professional support, right? And let me ask you now. What you do is really important work. I mean, you're dealing with some of the most vulnerable people in society and supporting them and getting them help and helping to change laws to protect them and on and on. How did a management education help in this?
Oh,
Because you have an executive MBA degree
yes.
from Riga Business School. And so I'm interested is how does that help with this?
Oh, this is really beneficial because before I started to study here, I was, I'm still a very idealistic person, but this helped me to understand how organization functions. And okay, we don't have sales and profit. We have other ways, other operations. We have fundraising and supporters and financial friends and other friends that can promote our work and support with the things that we do. So all this knowledge, business knowledge, it's up. We can apply this to our NGO work because still it's an organization. Still we have staff. Still we need to have motivation programs. Still we need to find. Okay, we are value-based organization, but there are also business organizations that are value-based. So all this knowledge, cost reduction, you know, and all this, it really it helped. And at that time, when I studied here, it was 2 years and very intense. And I had my intense work. I had just a newborn baby and these studies, it was very fruitful. All the projects that I wrote to European Commission, they were, you know, approved. You know, all the things. It was so inspirational, and I learned so much from my colleagues from this executive program, how they deal with issues, how they deal with challenges, and try to apply them into my organization. And I can say that. Also, master thesis that I wrote about, my dream was unrestricted funds for our work and more government programs. And now I have, you know, government programs. We can be part of these open procurement procedures. Our competencies bought, our services are bought, not only by Latvian government, but also organizations from Estonia, other countries. They purchase our competence, our knowledge how to develop this or that program to support vulnerable people. Also, our knowledge in Uzbekistan. It's this program is supported by Ministry of Foreign Affairs and UNDP in Uzbekistan. So, and many more individual persons that donate to, for our work. So it's all dreams come true.
And so the process of doing the master's thesis, researching it, writing it, and submitting it, and getting, and that really laid the groundwork in some way for you being able to get better funding and.
Yeah, also the way how I thought about things, it helped to structure my thinking, also to structure my work, to recruitment process, all the things, human resource management, how to, this visionary work with operational work, all these things, how you can connect with these very limited resources that we have at Marta Centers. So knowledge helps.
Okay, all right. And what are the management challenges you're facing now?
Exactly what you raised, how to go on within these challenging times and how to maintain optimism and spirit within the team so that they don't burn out. So these are really, there are many external factors that influence our work. So this is one of the biggest challenges right now.
And what is it that, I mean, you've got a lot on your plate, right? You've got a lot of things going on. So how do you organize all of that? How do you keep things straight?
I think that you have already some procedures in place that helps. There are things that I still need to get improvement, like description of all these procedures. It's not still there in Marta Centre, but I know that I need to do this. Also for new stuff coming in, it's really important. But yeah, that you have your procedures, you have you have these regular meetings, you have ad hoc meetings, and that you have all these networks in place. This in a way already organizes your daily routine. You have said these things, and then then you are just following these things. So in a way, and of course, planning, balancing, planning, and also planning things to charge your batteries and to feel to get this. To feel energetic, because I know that this helps also others feel more energetic.
So we've talked a lot about things that government does to help you and support you. What about things the business school can do in terms of the education they can? What do you need from a student when they come out of business school?
Dedication, in a way, because we are value-driven organization, and open-mindedness.
So by that, do you mean dedication? Is that referring to their salaries not going to be very high, or?
I think, as you told us, that salaries actually is hygienic factor.
Well,
it's not the key motivational factor. So for us, being in Marta, it means that you mostly are. That you are in Marta because you see value of Marta, and you see what Marta does for society and what's the benefit for society just because Marta exists and does things. So that's why I say dedication, but also being open-minded and how to say it in English. There was this nice word in English, I forgot, but that you are emotionally strong, that you are resilient, and that you can balanced in a way. So, and in my organization, you also, as working in Marta, you have lots of individual freedoms. You get big tasks and you need to reach these tasks by yourself. So it means that you know how to balance your work and free time, and that connect with other people, working in teams, so taking into account other people's time and all these small things that are important, especially if you work in matrix type of organization.
Okay. So you said that you take donations, and so I'd like the audience to think about donating, and if they want to donate, how do they do that?
They can just come to our website, marta.lv, and there is possibility to donate, button donate. The information is in Latvian and English, and there is, if you click on this button, there is more information how you can do it. And if you want to donate, especially for the work that we do in Ukraine, then you can just write that it's to support Ukraine.
Okay. So important work. If you're listening, you're watching, go and donate to Marta, and your money will go to help trafficked women, abused women, or if you like, it can help with the struggles in Ukraine.
Exactly.
Okay? So I think we're done today. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for giving us your time. It's a valuable thing you do, and so I thank you, my audience thanks you, and good luck in the future.
Thank you, and it was really valuable to study here and to learn all the stuff that I learned here. That was really useful.
Okay, thanks.